What's your hot take on signing day? What'd you think?
Thought it went well. Thought the staff did a good job of handling the new calendar and the early signing day as well as we could expect. We didn't lose any commitments. Everybody stayed with us down to the wire. We had some battles that we fought that were tough, and when it was all said and done, we got the guys we expected to get and guys that we wanted to get, and I think that's the most important. They fit needs, some impact players that can help us right now, and then some guys that we can develop and be good players for us down the road. So it was a good mix, and between December and February is a solid class.
How was it different in any approach or even just the logistics of that early signing day to your traditional?
Well, we didn't know how December was going to go. Were they all going to sign? Were they going to all hold out and wait? We didn't really have to pressure guys to sign. I think it just kind of happened naturally that guys had been on campus, liked what they were doing, felt good about going ahead and signing. And probably the biggest benefit of that, I think, was to go ahead and have guys on the dotted line before all the staff transitions and all the changes, and maybe we avoided some battles that we had to face in February. Again, I thought we had a plan going into it. We knew what we wanted to accomplish, and really we got that done.
Who's some of your big impact guys?
Well, any of the 4-year transfer guys that are in this class and any of the 2-year transfer guys, they're here for one reason: to come in and play immediately. There's guys that actually fit in this class, a guy like Dahu Green and Bubba Agbabar and Kevin Thurman that fit in this class but were on campus this year and weren't able to play because of the transfer rule. We've seen those guys in person all season, and they can definitely help our football team. And then the midterm transfers, they've got to. You don't take a junior college 2-year or 4-year transfer unless you feel like they can make an impact. So I think there's 10 guys on the list that have to help our team in the fall, and we think we got a pretty talented team coming back. And you can throw those 10 guys in the mix, and we get better overnight. Of the freshmen, who knows? I mean, nobody thought Hunter Morton was going to start 5 games for us this year at nose guard, and he did. So I don't know which freshman in this group is going to be that guy, but they'll all have that opportunity.
You guys have taken some flack in the past about the lack of Arkansas guys. Got a bunch this class, though.
Yeah, just the way it worked out. We didn't take any different approach. We've always started in-state. We made this was just a really good year, I think, for the state, high school talent-wise. And the guys fit us and what we do, and so the process worked out. We made, I think, 24, 25 total offers in the state. That's probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 more than we've been able to make in previous years. And really just it came down to what we needed, the talent that was available, guys that fit, and we end up getting, a few more of them to say yes. And we really didn't change the approach. It's the same approach. I know it's been talked about, but we always start at home. Just this year we got what we wanted.
One of those in-state guys is a record-setting quarterback in Lane Hatcher. I know you always say you try to take quarterback every year. What was it about him that you like?
Just a winner. I mean, bottom line, he's a winner. I think people stayed away from him in the recruiting process because of his size or lack thereof. He's not your prototypical 6'2", 6'3" guy. He's not a 4'5" guy out of the pocket. The guy wins on and off the field. I mean, I think he's going to possibly win 4 straight championships on the mat, and he lost maybe 2 or 3 games in his career as a quarterback. He's a winner, and the intangibles to me, that means a lot. He fits our system really well.
How many of these guys are multi-sport athletes?
The majority of them are doing more than one. We didn't make a big deal about it, but a lot of guys playing basketball, some track and baseball players, and then you got Lane who wrestles. I think he may be the only guy that wrestles, and he's obviously really good at it. I think he's top 5 in the country, maybe at this point. But most of these guys do something else. Very few are just football. I think that's great. It's not always possible, but I think it's good to see him do other things.
Nathan Page coming out of Little Rock too. I know he's coming in as a corner.
Possible. I think the place he can impact our football team the fastest is at corner. I do believe that if you think next level opportunity, I think a cover corner or cover nickel safety with that kind of length and speed, I do believe that's something that he can see the value in that. Potential return guy. I would never talk about a guy being a double-sided player until they really come in and establish themselves at one spot and make sure they're taking care of that one spot. What happens beyond that, it's going to be up to him.
You got some coaching spots to fill. What are you looking for? Where are you at on some?
Well, honestly, those spots are already full. We'll get through the red tape of hiring the guys that we've. I could see these opportunities coming. We knew the 10th spot was going to be available. Interviewed guys and prepared for that. in advance. Also knew there was a possibility of losing a skilled guy on offense. And so really have interviewed probably 15 total guys throughout the course of the Christmas break and at the AFCA convention. And we'll be able to announce 2 guys probably middle of next week once all the red tape is cleared, and then we'll add some guys to our staff and be really at full strength. So this is just one of those things. Luckily, we were able to kind of foresee this coming and speed the process up, I think, a little bit.
Do you have any idea what you're going to do with that 10 spot, like kind of what his specific roles are going to be?
Yeah, we're going to add a guy to the defensive side of the ball, outside linebackers, nickel safety. With us playing with a 4-2-5 with an extra safety on the field, I think it'll help Joe. We talked about it a lot. Felt like that set of eyes and somebody in the back end would be helpful. All of our defensive guys play on special teams. It'll give us another set of eyes and hands there in that phase, and then we'll replace Luke's spot with the outside wideouts as well. So we'll end up, and I'm on offense. We got an extra set of hands on offense, and that helps us do that.
Going back to recruiting class, this is your 5th one. It seems like all 5 classes you've had, there were key roles that you absolutely had to go and fill. You did it again this year. You've done it every year since then. Previously, you've been able to fill those roles with quality guys. You feel like you've done it again?
Yeah, I do. You look at the list and you watch these guys on tape, and you guys don't have the luxury of getting to know them, but having the opportunity to get to know them. And they fit our culture, what we're trying to do. They know exactly what to expect coming in. The standards to win championships is not just to be okay and get to a bowl game. They know that. They come in with that expectation. They know we're going to do things right, that they're going to be held to a really high standard off the field. And then, obviously, the film speaks for itself. All these guys can play, and they do fit needs that are created. Pass rushers with the graduation of Javon and Caleb Caston, tight end with Blake and Jonah Hill leaving out. So as you look through, everybody, they're all spots that are necessary for us to compete at a really high level. Some that we can develop. It's okay if they redshirt and it takes a year or two, but some guys that have to make an impact immediately. One of the biggest things is we lose one of the best return guys in our conference and in the country with Blaze Taylor, and Kurt Merrick's able to step into that role. He's one of the best in the country, and he will be day one. So they've all been specifically brought in to fill a need or to develop for a need that's going to arise in the future. And I think our staff did a great job of identifying who we could get and who could help us.
What are you expecting out of Dahu Green?
Sky's the limit on how good he can be. We're obviously talented at the position already, but he is a dynamic Sunday type player. He practiced against our defense all year, a scout team guy, and I was told he's got the cheat codes. That gives you an idea. Our guys couldn't cover him. 6'5", 210, 4'4". Lincoln Riley said he was one of the top 5 athletes on his football team. Just needed a different environment, and I think he found that in us. A smaller, a little bit more down-home family environment, away from some distractions.
Kind of fundamental changes, or maybe a different approach that you're going to take going into spring and into next season?
You just get back to the basics. Honestly, I think talent was not the issue. We learned a valuable lesson. Our kids know that. Talent's not enough. We had the talent to win more games than we did. We just didn't have the discipline, the detail, and the accountability. And so everything about what we're doing right now in our program is patterned towards creating that level of accountability, detailed execution on and off the field, not just X's and O's. I don't think we have to change a thing on the field in terms of X's and O's. We gotta get out of our group on Saturday, let the talent show, and do it without hurting ourselves. We just made too many mistakes. We were careless. We were undisciplined at times, and they know that. We know that. We're addressing that, and I've been really pleased with how they've attacked that over the first month of being back. The accountability measures are at an all-time high, and they're stepping up to those, and are starting to lead and interact with each other, holding themselves accountable, not just from us. And I think that's a good sign of where we're headed.
Do you think some of that had to do with the youth of the team last year?
Say that again?
You think some of that had to do with the youth that was on the team last year?
I think the inexperience on the team and the lack of true leadership. There's a risk involved with how we've had to build the team. We've had to build the team to compete right now. There's not an opportunity for us to have a 2 or 3 year spell for us to build a program with young guys coming up. So when you build a team that way and you bring in 2-year guys and 4-year guys and throw them all together, there's going to be an opportunity that you're going to lose out. And where we lost out, I think, was with just sheer leadership and continuity, and it showed itself on game day at times where we made mistakes of inexperience and immaturity. And so we're addressing that as best we can. Like I said, talent's not the issue. And I think this will be our most talented football team yet. We've got to get it on Saturday, and we've got to avoid the key mistakes, and leadership has to step up, and I think it's trying to do that right now.
How much of these exciting transfers coming in, and with some of these freshmen that look ready even to step in now, where are we deep and where do we still need work?
Still gonna, well, I don't know if we're deep at anything. We're still only gonna be at about 78 spots, so we're still thin. I'd love to think that we can acquire another guy or two in fall and try to get to that 80 number, but you know, right now with the class we've got, we're only at 77 or 78 total scholarships, so we're talented but not super deep. I think D-line, we're gonna have a chance to be deep. All these guys are healthy and ready to play. That's a good spot to be deep and have depth. We're still gonna need to do a great job in the future at safety, at wideout, and defensive end, and O-line. Those 4 spots are really talented, but not a lot of depth. You got a 2 deep, but if a guy goes down, you can be thin really, really quickly. And the next class in 19, those are critical spots to continue to develop and make sure we can, you know, that roster is just still kind of a work in progress. I'd like to get to 82, 83, 84. I don't know at what point we can get there when you can only take, you know, a locked in number per year, and you've got guys graduating, and then attrition's always going to take its toll. So it may still take another 2 or 3 classes to get to 84, to get to 83. Maybe someday we'll get to 85. You know, I think that's one of the best things about how this cycle worked out. We were able to actively, truly recruit the state for quality walk-ons. And I don't have a number for you right now, Jay. I just know that the level of talent that we've been able to get kind of commitments from, that, hey, we're coming. Guys that have turned down Division II and 1AA scholarships to come take their shot at a Division I team. I mean, I think that's really going to help our team. May not see the effects of it day one, but in the long term, these guys will earn scholarships. You know, you think of Johnston White. We need that next Johnston White type guy, and I think there's some guys in this group that could do that. And the ability to go recruit them actively a little bit more than maybe we've been able to do previous years because of the signing day change, I think it's going to help our team.
You mentioned the signing day change. Saw you got some props on ESPN yesterday.
Yeah, I thought appreciate what Tom said, and I thought the fact, haven't really talked to him since I left Carolina. I mean, he did a lot of our games there, but for him to have noticed the job we've done and to speak about it, it says a lot about what our staff's done, and that's the conversation we want to be in. We want to separate ourselves from the rest of the group of 5 as best we can, and to me, recruiting is the best way you can do that. And it was good to be noticed that the staff did a phenomenal job of putting together another good class.
Coach, do you look at what other Sun Belt teams are doing in recruiting at all? And
I really don't. I mean, I know there's all different levels of rankings, and I appreciate you know, when people acknowledge that we've done a good job, but we don't look at recruiting rankings when we recruit a guy. We don't care who else has offered him or has not. I think you've got to kind of put blinders on and evaluate the kid and decide if he fits you. And I think our staff does a good job of that. I try to take all the emotion out of it, try to take all the territorial ego out of it, and try to find the guys that best fit us. If that means they're recruited by other folks, great. If not, we think they can help us, we're going to take them anyway, and we'll let the rankings, you know, fall with them. I think it's hard to rank anyway, because you take a guy like Dahu Green that's actually part of this class, he's not going to be ranked. He's not a traditional signee. I mean, we feel like collectively this is the best class we've had. I don't know what the rankings are. I know some of them say we're number 1, some of them they say we're number whatever. It won't matter until they go out and play and win games for us. Ultimately, you can win the rankings and then go lose games. It's, you know, I'd rather win the games and lose the rankings.
What do you expect out of a guy like Kevin Thurman?
Well, we couldn't block him on scout team this year, so I expect him to be a nightmare for people in the league this fall. I mean, he's dynamic. First step off the ball is lightning fast, and he loves to play. You know, he and Dahu Green and Bubba all worked on scout team for us this year because they were ineligible because of the transfer. They all made plays, and made plays in a way that stood out, that everybody noticed. If they can continue to do that, I mean, they all can be impact players for us as well.
Hey guys, we got to get the program going.